over to Bertha. Bertha, you're on mute.
Sorry. Yeah, welcome again, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you again to this very important webinar. My name is Berta Alicia Calles Cartas, and I am the Interim Library Service Manager at Oxford Health in the UK. I'm a member of the CILB Committee of Community, Equality and Diversity. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Ghada Dimashq to this session. She is an archivist and metadata librarian at the Palestine Land Studies Center at the American University of Beirut. She has established Palestine Land Studies Center cataloging and archival policies, emphasizing the preservation of Palestinian cultural identity and alignment with international standards. Among others, Ghada collaborated with Dalhousie University Archives and Digital Media Lab to create a comprehensive social media archive documenting the Gaza war, amassing 16 terabytes of data. This initiative is now recognized as the first in the Arab world and globally to document an ongoing war on the social media platforms. Without further ado, welcome Ghada, over to you.
Thank you, Oliver. Thank you, Bertha. And I'm happy to be with you today. And I'll be sharing my PowerPoint first. Okay, so today we'll be talking about fighting erasure, and I want to say something that as a Lebanese librarian, as a Lebanese archivist, I can totally understand what is fighting erasure is. I have grew up in a country that since I was a little kid till now, we are always in a constant war. We are always witnessing destruction around us. So I'm always witnessing an erasure for our identity, for our culture, for our archives. And I know how exhausting it is. I know how difficult it is. And it is not just exhausting, and it's just you have to put a lot of effort. It's like that you are racing with time and you are losing your archive in front of your eyes, and you have no clue what to do, but at the same time you don't have the time to stand up and think. You always have to react. So fighting erasure is not easy at all. When you lose your identity, you lose your narrative, you lose your history, it's like you are losing yourself in this regard. So today's, okay, just a moment, I'm trying to figure out this. Okay. So today's presentation is gonna be about fighting erasure, what fighting erasure means, and about the difference between modern and traditional archiving. Where do they meet and where do they not meet? About the historical and contemporary attacks to archives. We're going to talk about archives and its relationship to the international law, about the censorship and the erasure in the age of social media, and why Meta is censoring voices. I'm going to talk also about cataloging as a tool of erasure and the attempts that's going on in Lebanon and Palestine to fight this erasure. According to Michael, I'm sorry again, because just I have an issue with the presentation. I cannot see the slides.
So sorry, maybe
if you see them, I will try to stop sharing and share it again. I'm sorry. The whole issue and the whole story. It's always about those who have power in the face of other people who are less powerful than them. And it's always about who have power. They always control everything. They control narratives. They control what's kept and what must be deleted. They control the archive itself. what we should keep in the archive and what should we erase. It's not about the real identity of the archive, because the real identity of the archive is to keep everything, is to collect everything. You cannot decide that this I should keep it and this I should delete it. We have to keep everything. This is the role of archivists. This is the role of librarians, that we have to see things in one single eye. We cannot decide. We cannot interfere. Even if this document, for example, does not go along with my narrative, I cannot just erase it. I cannot just delete it, because this I am defying the history. I'm defying and manipulating history and the narratives. So, and according to Michael Rolfe Torilot, it is fighting erasure to him. It is particularly relevant in colonial and post-colonial contexts, where erasure is used as a tool of oppression to justify territorial deposition, cultural genocide, and political domination. Again, and we will talk now about this more to see how colonial ideology played a very important role through history in erasing and destroying archives. And this also played a key role in manipulating the narratives. And we've seen this in Lebanon, and we've seen this in Palestine, and in many countries in the world, not just Lebanon and Palestine, this issue. In this slide, what I want to talk about is that when we talk about traditional versus modern archiving, we are not just talking about we're just talking about how archives should be stored or preserved, because it's obvious that archives are evolving with the technology, and the way we preserve archives is also evolving with the technology we have around us. But here I mean something else. I'm talking about the censorship, the oppression, and how archive is the vulnerability of the archives in war. Have these issues like censorship and oppression and destruction of archive changed with modernity? Have cultural institutions stopped being targeted? So here we tend to think that as civilization advances, archive and cultural heritage are becoming safer. However, history tells us the opposite to this, because archives have always been attacked, not just to let's say that archives have always been destroyed, not just also by natural disasters, but also by deliberate destruction of human beings. And we have seen in the past libraries and archives were looted and burned, and today also we are witnessing that archives and libraries are being destroyed, and in more sophisticated way, let's say. We have seen archives are being destroyed digitally, politically, using algorithm to destroy archive. And by this we can say that oppression has never been erased. It has been evolving and adapting with the new tools that we are seeing in our modern day. So while modernity has changed and the archives is still being erased, definitely modernity didn't play a role in eliminating the threat that archives and that archives are facing in our day. And this will lead us to a very important point, that archives, whether it was physical or digital, it was a battleground, and it will stay forever a battleground. It's gonna stay the fight over archives that has been always about who controls history. Here we can say that it's like a comparison between how historical archives been destroyed and how in our modern days archives are being destroyed. Usually archives in histories, the archives were being attacked by burning and looting and killing, executions of scholars, while nowadays were being, the archives is being bombed, or they had got cyber attack, for example, for the digital archive. But here, what I want to say that, as we said before, that archive is still being attacked, and the threat of destruction of archive never gone with the modernity life. And but there's two issues here that we only see that the way of destroying archives has evolved. And the other important thing is the resistant efforts to protect archives also evolved with time, because we're still seeing resilience or resistance to protect archives. So previously, people used to have secret libraries or depends on the oral archives to tell their kids, and kids tell the other generations, and go on and on and on. And nowadays, we have the digital archiving and the backup in many countries and many servers to keep the archives saved as much as we can. Here, I wanted to give some examples about archives that got destroyed previously and archives that are being destroyed in our modern life. And here we have, for example, the Library of Alexandria, the Mongol invaders to Iraq, Ottoman Empire in Lebanon and Syria, let's say, and the French mandate also in Lebanon, and we have the Nakba. After the World War II, let's say, and after let's say not after World War II, after the evolving of international law, when law decided to protect the archives, and now law came to say that destroying archives is a crime war, and yet after that we still witnessed a destruction of archives in many phases, and we have a lot of examples in this regard. Here is some of the examples from the historical. Here is Jabal Amel. It's part of the South Lebanon. And here when the Ottoman Empire decided to burn all the books of Jabal Amel and executed many scholars and researchers. And this is also the House of Wisdom that got burned, and the Library of Alexandria that got burned several times, and more than 3 million in every incident. We hear this huge number: 3 million of documents were lost, 3 million or 4 million of documents were burned, and so on. And also, everyone knows about the Nakba archive. And here is the documentary. It's called The Great Book Robbery. And in this documentary, there is Israeli archivists and librarians talking about when Nakba happened in Palestine. The Israeli soldier took with them librarians. The librarians' role was to invade houses and take all the books found in the Palestinians' house, and they were all taken to the National Library of Israel now, under the title of Abandoned Books. And they not only they took the books from the Palestinians' houses, they also burned all books that they considered a threat to them and to their narrative. And this is said by their own librarian at the National Library of Israel, and it's documented here in this movie. And this is when we're going to talk about archives versus the international law. And in this, we've seen that in 1954, we started to witness that attacking archive is considered a crime, a war crime. And yet, according to UNESCO, this law, according to UNESCO reports, that cultural heritage destruction has intensified in recent conflicts. It didn't even decrease. It kept going on and on. And we can say that international law failed to protect the cultural heritage, failed to protect the archives and libraries from being destroyed. That's again because those who have power are able to control everything, are able to be above the law, are able to destroy and erase and burn archives, and there's no accountability in return. And that's why we've seen that losing archive in the last 30 years is kept escalating and not decreasing. And this is, as I said, it is in the UNESCO reports saying this proving that the destruction of cultural heritage is increasing and not decreasing. And here is some examples also about the destruction of cultural heritage, or let's say about the archives in general. In the image in the right, we have the Lebanese National Library, and this is a story that I like to tell everyone about. The Lebanese National Library got destroyed during the Civil War, and there is something so special, and it's weird a little bit. When the Civil War started in Lebanon, and let's say after the war is over, the Civil War is over, librarians of the Lebanese National Library came back to the library, and of course, they witnessed destruction in the library, and they witnessed that newspapers that they are first issued, and they used to be rare newspapers, they were burned because the militias they used to burn the newspapers so they can get warm. And the weird thing in this story is librarians noticed that all the manuscripts and the rare books were taken from the shelves, as if the one who stole these rare books and manuscripts know that on this shelf there's this book, and they took it. And after the Israeli invasion, and before, the librarians started to inbox all the archives from the Lebanese National Library, and they put them at the UNESCO building. And then the Israeli invasion in 1982, they came to Beirut. They started attacking the research centers. They invaded PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization Research Center, and it was known that it contained thousands of books, newspaper, research documents, maps, and political records on Palestinian displacement, resistance, and historical claims, etc. Israeli soldiers stole thousands of books and manuscripts and records, and then they bombed the center and put it on fire. And not this also, they also bombed the Institute of Palestinian Study in Beirut, and the UNESCO building was also bombed, the UNESCO building that contains the Lebanese archive, the Lebanese National Library's archive and documents, and this also again led to the loss of historical documents and research materials that belong to the Lebanese National Library. And the other things that they did is the Israeli soldier is that not only attack the research centers and libraries and the places that contains archives, they also attacked the Palestinian scholars, journalists, and political figures in Beirut, who they lived in Beirut, and those who have private libraries and collections that documenting the history of Palestine and the resistance movements. And during the invasion, Israeli forces looted and destroyed many of these private collections, and erasing personal and family histories that have been passed down from generations to generations. And in these images, you can see that the PLO Research Center, how it was destroyed, and the shelves are empty because they stole the archives that they want to steal and keep with them. And here also another examples to prove that attacking archives is not just related to Lebanon or related to Palestine, or it's just a political issue, or it's also a religious issue. And here we have seen that the Timbuktu manuscripts that got burned and lost forever. Here we see the National Library of Iraq that was bombed and destroyed. And other examples also about the attacking and destruction of archives that we are losing it forever. Reaching, of course, what's going on in Gaza. And here we have seen also the deliberate attempt on burning libraries and destroying the central archive, destroying the central public library of Gaza that contains very important rare books, documents, and manuscripts. This is all was gone. They attacked the archives of universities, public libraries, research centers. They are all now gone in Gaza. And to reach now for Meta, for the censorship, as we said that censorship is not just related to in the history or related to specific era. It's also and continuing. We are seeing now censorship on social media. We are seeing that erasure also is found on the digital era. And Human Rights Watch and the Access Now proved that daily there's a huge amount of posts and posts and documents, posts and videos and images that are documenting the war in Gaza is being taken down. And they have studied this type, Human Rights Watch have studied the type of posts that being erased, and they found out that 1,050 posts were removed from social media, and one of them was posted by Israeli, and the other were posted by Palestinians or pro-Palestinians, and they are all documenting the destruction of Gaza, or talking about human rights and nothing that is illegal according to laws, so they can move it. We have seen that also scholarships and researchers and intellectuals were being suspended in social media because they are talking about the war in Gaza. I want to say something here also. I have been documenting and archiving social media since October 8 till now. And it is also, again, a race against time. It is also, again, a fight against erasure, because I have a lot of accounts that they were documenting the daily life of Palestinians in Gaza, and they were documenting the destruction, the massacres, the suffering of people, let's say, and they are documenting the, let's say, the spread of diseases in Gaza due to the blockade and etc. And this account, when I archive it, after a week, when I want to come back to update what I have collected from this account, it's removed, it's closed, and it's suspended. And this is also, you feel like you are trying to collect as much as you can from social media to document this war, because in the other side, there's always an attempt to remove anything posted about Gaza, anything that shows what's going on in Gaza, shows the destruction, shows the suffering of the civilians, shows the spread of disease, etc. Every aspect of the war, it is removed. Even if art, there's pages that they were posting arts about Gaza, about Palestine, about children. Let's say there's a post about, we all know that the grandfather who was holding his grandchildren, and he said the soul of the soul, ruh al-ruh. This type of accounts or posts, they were also removed. and then this is proof that there's a censorship and there's a trying to erase a trace for what's going on in Gaza. And surprisingly, today in the morning when I woke up, I read this news, and now I can understand why they are trying to erase what's being posted on social media. This is a news that was posted today, and it said that a pro-Israel AI bot designed for online propaganda has backfired, exposing Israel's apartheid policies. Instead, built to defend Zionist narratives, the bot started contradicting its own mission, criticizing Israel's war on Gaza, debunking Israeli and its allies' lies about UNRWA, and even urging raising funds for Palestinian children. And this is, they built a tool to defend their narrative. It turned on them. And why? Because AI go and collect data from internet, from social media. It works on crowdsourcing, collecting data. The huge amount of posts and data and information that is being posted to defend the Palestinian narratives, it's all over in the net. And when this AI tool wants to collect the data to defend the Palestinian narrative, it didn't find anything. To defend the Israeli narrative, it didn't find proof to defend the Israeli narrative. It started to contradict its own mission and started to defend the Palestinian narrative instead. And this is, it was a little bit shocking for me. Another way on fighting erasure, it's another tool for erasure is the cataloging. And surprisingly also that I have noticed that cataloging and libraries practices and the archives practices and policies are part of, they are playing a role in erasing other people's narratives and stories. And although I have been working at the Lebanese National Library for 14 years, I did not notice that it is this big until I started working at the Palestine Land Studies Center, and I've started to cataloging the books that are related to the Palestinian case. And shockingly that I had, it took me a while to figure out the type of subjects that I want to use for these books. For example, we all know as librarians and archivists that the subject heading or the term or the resource that I want to use should reflect the content of the book. And yet, when I go to try to look for a subject that reflects a content of a book, I cannot find anything. One of the examples that is just so weird is when I was cataloging a book that was talking about how the settlements are being expanded in Jerusalem, and how the Israeli soldiers were going on the Palestinian houses, kicking the Palestinians from their homes and throwing them outside their houses. They took the houses, they destroyed the houses, and they rebuilt a new settlement. And the subject heading used for this book was city planning. And here I was shocked. The book is not talking about city planning. The book is talking about taking Palestinians out of their houses, destroying their houses, rebuilding a new settlement. Even in the subject heading, there's no term that say a new settlement is being built. There's no terms that saying we have a settlement, a settlement expansion. So this made me look further in the term and the subject headings that we are using as librarians and archivists, and when we are documenting and doing the metadata for the books we have. it wasn't just about this book. We have a lot of other examples when you cannot find a book, a term that say that there's Israeli occupation in Palestine, although UN admitted that Israel is occupying Palestine. We don't have any term that say that Israel has occupied south of Lebanon for 20 years, although historical, and it's a fact that Israel occupied south of Lebanon for more than 20 years, and yet there's no subject reflects this. Even when I was talking about the Israeli invasion in 1982, the subject heading that's used for this incident is Israeli intervention, and it's not Israeli invasion. And that's what made me think, who decide to put this subject heading that reflects my narrative, that reflects my history, that reflects something happened in my country, and then outside someone decided to say that it's not an Israeli intervention, it's not an Israeli invasion, it is Israeli intervention. When Israel invaded Lebanon, at the 1985, they backed out from Beirut, Saida. They went back and stayed in south of Lebanon for more than 20 years. So the subject heading here is Israeli and intervention 1982-1985, and that's it. They erased that when they back off. In 1985, they did not talk about that Israel occupied south of Lebanon, and so on. And here, where I discovered that we have to work on our terms, we have to create our own thesaurus and our own terms that reflects our own narrative, and we use it in our policies and the practices and our cataloging, no need all the time to be part of this global, under the globalization of subject heading, let's say, under this umbrella, that we have to follow the international standards, that we have to follow the subject headings that it is imposed internationally. We will follow the international standards in cataloging and policies and practices, but at the same time, we will preserve our identity in these practices. We will preserve our narrative in these practices and policies, and our history in these practices and policies. So, in conclusion, I want to say that there's two domains, in digital and traditional, underscore both share the same reality, that erasure was never been accidental. It was always been systematic. They are always those who have power. They target the archives because they know once they target this archive, once they stole this archive, the other side will not be able to prove that, for example, this land is our land, or this narrative is the correct narrative. This is why those who have power, they attack and destroy archive and steal archive. And to me, the struggle now is to ensure that the archive fulfills its true role as a collector and protector of narratives and identities. It is important because I have witnessed in this war, particularly when the war on Gaza, there is oppression, even on archivists, even on librarians. They are afraid to go and say and talk that what's going on in Gaza, what happened in Lebanon, from destruction to cultural heritage, and attacking the archives and libraries and destroying and burning archives and libraries and etc. They are unable to condemn this. They are unable to say that according to international law, this is a war crime. They cannot say that because they are under threat. If we talk about this, we will face, an attack from those who have the power to do this. And this is another issue also about freedom of speech. Finally, I would like to talk about attempts. As I said in the beginning, during all our history, we have been witnessing those who have power trying to kill, and historically we're saying those who are intellectual, trying to erase and destroy everyone talks against their own narrative. And we said that we have also witnessed a way to protect and fight this erasure. Historically, people used to do secret libraries and they depend on oral archive. And nowadays, in our current era, we are using the digital platforms to fight erasures. And there's a lot of attempts to document and archive the war on Gaza, archive the destruction of cultural heritage in Gaza. We have the Institute of IPS Institute of Palestinian Studies. We have air wars. We have archiving genocide. We have many websites that they are tracking, and many efforts, let's say, that they are tracking and documenting the war on Gaza. And each one is doing it in own way. And to me, all these attempts complement each other. And one of these attempts is the Fighting Erasure project. And this project is led by Dr. Rami Zrek from the American University of Beirut and Dr. Hanin Shhadi from New York University, Abu Dhabi, and Dr. Jamila Ghaddar from Amsterdam University, and she's also the director of Archives and Digital Media Lab. This initiative, as I said, has sub-projects, and all these projects under this, they aim to one thing, is to fight the erasing and to build a decolonial archival framework and to preserve the content, to preserve the context and the meaning, and to preserve narratives of the Palestinians in a structured and using methodologies. One of them is archiving the social media, and the end target of this project is to build a GLAM sector where galleries, libraries, archives, and museums that have collections about Palestinian history to be united again under one platform that will help researchers and scholarships to see the whole narrative of the Palestinians. And thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Gada. That was amazing. I learned a lot from that. I didn't know about this this movie about the book robbery. So it's a lot to learn, a lot of parallels. And I'm sure that everyone in the audience have questions. Please place your questions on the chat, or if someone would like to unmute. So I guess we just have to make sure that the recording is stopped now, or no? So we are recording the conversation. Yeah, I think we have someone in the chat. If you would like to ask a question, yes, please raise your hand. Okay, we have a question. So you said, DK says, you mentioned archiving social media posts that oppressors don't want to be seen. Can you explain more in practical terms how it's done exactly and protected against further erasure? You're on mute, Gada.
Yeah. Yes. Can you please repeat the question? It's about the social media posts.
Mm-hmm. It says, yeah. So how can you explain? So you mentioned archiving social media posts that oppressors don't want to be seen. Can you explain more in practical terms how it's done exactly and how it's protected against future erasure?
Okay. So when when we have a lot of pages and accounts on social media that they are documenting the war in Gaza. And we have a lot of categories. For example, we have people who are Palestinians, and they are documenting their daily lives, how they are living in tents, how they are. We have a lot of videos that people are sitting and recording and talking about what they are going through, and out of sudden, it is in their videos. You see them got targeted, and bombs are falling down on them. We have Palestinian journalists who are in Gaza too, who are documenting the war in Gaza, and they are posting on their social media. When I started archiving these pages, these accounts, teenagers are, do you know that teenagers, that they like to be like bloggers and YouTubers, and they are recording videos about what they are going through, etc. When we are archiving these pages, and as I said, the next week when I want to come and do the backup, the accounts are erased. And once the accounts are erased, all what was posted on this account will be erased too. They will be gone. While when I do the archive, when I collect the data that posted on this account, when this account is erased, I have this data. It's archived, it's preserved, and it will stay preserved for the future generations. And this is how you protect their narratives from being erased on social media, is to keep always archiving. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, let's say, and as long as we are archiving and collecting this data, once this account is closed and erased, we have the backup. We have the proof that show me that those civilians were sitting and there's a bomb came down on them and killed children and women and elderly there. There is a video showing that. When this account that shows that that when they were in Al-Shifa hospital, for example, and it's got bombed, there's a lot of videos showing the bombarding that happened there, and then the account is closed. But we have them now in our archive. We have this person who got killed later, and we have many. I have accounts for teenagers that they were documenting their daily lives and they got killed. Journalists, I archived their pages and they got killed. And after they got killed, their pages were closed and erased. But I have their data there. I was able to capture their data and preserve them.
Thank you very much, Gada. I think that also there is an interest in understanding more of the practical aspect on how do you do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can expand on that.
Yeah, the practical aspect is that when the war in Gaza started, I've contacted Dr. Jamila Ghaddar from Dalhousie University, and we started talking about what should we do, how should we archive the social media. It's a huge data being thrown every day on about the war in Gaza, and we've met several programmers. And we started to find tools. We have several tools. Each tool is used for specific kind of for specific type of social media. So I have, for example, the Insta Loader that helped me to collect the posts and the captions of Instagram. I have DL Archive that helps me to collect the accounts, to archive the accounts on Twitter or X, and takes the caption as well in a very structured way. So I have a tool for YouTube, it's YTDLP. I have for Facebook, eSuite, I think it's eSuite. And recently, yesterday, when I wanted to do to continue back up the data that I have been archiving, I have witnessed that InstaLoader is unable to archive and collect data anymore. It's like that Meta started to witness that there is archive tools that are trying to collect data from Instagram, and they are once I give the Insta loader the order to collect data, it come back and stop the collecting process. But again, we are now looking for alternative tool.
Well, thank you very much. That's incredible, the technical knowledge that an archivist needs to have to continue the work.
Yeah, the data is collected is very structured because we have used Python. I don't know very technical technique, but I know that we have to download Python, and we use commands to give the order, so the tools have to collect the data. So it gives me the data I collect. It's a very structured data that I can use it and rebuild it in a different way. Maybe I can rebuild it and put it as a website so people can view it again. So it's very structured. It's not like just downloading, because we have a lot of tools that just download for you photos and the images and the videos without the captions. And this is not what we want. We want something very structured, the way it downloads the data from the social media.
Thank you very much, Gada. There is some more questions on the chat. So Camila will ask, if as librarians and archivists, is there anything we can do to support your work that can be useful?
Yeah, definitely. We need help as much as we can. You know, this is very hard to do. And for those who would like to help, they can visit our Fighting Erasure website. I will put the link on the chat. So for those who would like to be part of this project, they can just contact us, and we can talk further in this. We'd love to, honestly.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So it's great to see some good networking going on. So there is another question. Oh, sorry. Gada, thank you for your passionate presentation. Yeah. Have you got anything to document the Palestinian way of life before it was subjected to the occupation? How would you respond to those who deny the existence of Palestine?
There's a question I would like to answer before this. It's a good question from Dean. Yeah. It's like, how do you differentiate between genuine social media posts and propaganda? This is a very good question because as I said, when we are collecting and archiving, we should archive everything we see. When I was archiving social media, it's not my job while I'm collecting the data to see if this post is a fake or not fake. I have to collect because this is part of the history. This is part of the game. When, let's say, sometimes Israel, for example, I don't want to say Israel. Let's say if I have a post that was taken from Syria. I had this incident. There's a post was taken from Syria, and they said that this is a massacre happened in Gaza. Twitter said, they gave you, this is not a post from Gaza. This one happened years ago in Syria. Yet I archived this and archived what Twitter has, the note that Twitter said. And also, on the other hand, Israel had a lot of have fake news, and we have to document everything because you have to, in social media, propaganda plays an important role to change the opinion, the public opinion. The important thing is we do not decide what to archive, what to not. I take everything. It's the researcher role to decide or to look in this data, to look if this incident, is it true or not? I'm just collecting, I'm just archiving. I'm just archiving how both narratives are being presented on social media. How the Palestinians or the pro-Palestinians are using art to present the Palestinian case. How in the protests they are kept using Viva Palestina, for example, and it went spread everywhere in the whole world. I'm just taking this, everything I see, and document. I even document the Israeli narrative. I even document their influencers, what they are talking about the war. I even document their journalists, what they are talking about this war. We have to document everything. We have to archive as much as we can, all narratives, all incidents. And then it's the role of researchers to start and decide what's true, what's not true. It's their work. My work is to collect and not to hide. And not. Sometimes I see posts that is really annoying. But I can't say that I cannot archive it. I have to archive it. It's not up to me.
Thank you very much, Ghada. I'm conscious of time and there is a lot of interest. So the recording will be shared and maybe we have time for a couple more questions. What do you think, Ghada?
Yeah, I can.
So so there was this question about the documents of the Palestinian way of life before. And how would you respond to those who deny the existence of a Palestinian identity?
What's the question?
Have you got anything to document the Palestinian way of life before it was subjected to the occupation? Maybe before before the 40s? And how would you respond to those who deny the existence of a Palestinian identity?
Okay, so during also the archiving process, we started also to witness that people or Palestinians, pro-Palestinians started to share old videos. And they were sharing videos about Palestine, how it was before 1948. They are sharing videos about the Nakba and what's going on in Gaza. It's a continuity of the Nakba. We've also saw that people who are defending the idea that it didn't start on October 7. It goes way back along, and they are posting how Israeli are always attacking the Palestinians in the West Bank, and how they are capturing and holding children and put them in prisons, and everyone knows, I don't know if everyone knows about the administrative capturing, when they just take someone to jail and they have nothing to accuse him. And it's called administrative capturing, and they stay for years and there's nothing to accuse them, just like that. So people started to talk more and more and more, not just about Gaza. They started to relate how their lives was there before. And all this also have been collected and archived and captured because it's very important in this narrative, because Palestinians for the first time felt that they have this space where they can talk, where they can tell their own narratives for the first time. And the post that I showed you about the AI tool that Israel was using is a proof that the social media was able to spread the Palestinian narratives to the whole world. And people started to know what is Palestine, what's Palestinian case, what's going on there.
Thank you very much, Ghada. And maybe the last question. So are there any conscientious people on the other side of this conflict who are keeping records of these deliberate erasures, like planning documents, emails, and are they being shared or preserved anywhere?
Yes, we have a lot of, we have very good initiatives about documenting the war on Gaza, but everyone is working for example, we have I can share later with you the names of these initiatives. For example, archiving genocide. Archiving genocide, for example, tracks all the fake stories or the fake news that Israeli are spreading on social media. Their job is to take this new, study it, and see if this new is true or fake. And they give the proof if this why this new is a fake new, it's not a true new, with the evidence. So this is one of the initiatives, and we also archive their work, and we follow their works and archive what they are doing. We have Airwords also. Airwords, they are in London also, and they document, I think, if I'm not wrong, they are documenting the destruction of hospitals in Gaza. There's also the IPS, as I said, Institute of Palestine Studies. They are also working on documenting the war in Gaza. We have also an initiative, I think it's called Sahat. They are documenting the journalists in Gaza and what they are posting on they are trying to collect their archives and preserve their archives. So initiative is working on specific topic. And as I said, all these initiatives complement each other.
Thank you very much, Agada. I don't think that we'll never give enough time to do justice to this amazing, incredibly important topic. But unfortunately, we're short of time now. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending, for your participation and questions. And yeah, so we are very pleased that we are having this kind of events in the context of CILIP, which is a Chartered Institute of Library and Information Professionals. And yeah, and thank you, Gada, for giving the time to share your knowledge.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, everyone.